I know people have anxieties about a world in which a lot of people are quote unquote given gold stars for everything. And I don't want to comment too much on that because I grew up before that. Gold stars for things were rare. Sometimes affirmation was rare. And it's always possible that people are talking about something very real that they're noticing with the downsides of giving too much. But I'll also say, think about a world in which we didn't give any affirmation or appreciation. And the example that comes to mind is babies taking their first steps. Usually, when a kid finally hauls himself up on some surface and gets themselves stabilized and then steps away from the support and takes their first couple of steps, somebody's usually there cheering them, right? We could probably find endless videos on YouTube or TikTok of some kids' first steps and the adults or older kids around them going, yeah, you got that, yay. Can you imagine if the only thing we did was say, hey, you got to do better next time, kid. That was only 2 steps. You got to get up to 4 or 5. I think we'd probably find that we were demotivating them a little bit. People who've studied this in more detail report back to us that the same reward circuits really do keep functioning for us in adulthood. And sure, maybe it's not a good idea to praise too effusively for things that are too small, but it's good to recognize ourselves and to recognize others. Now, the author of the book Tiny Habits, who is a behavioral scientist at Stanford, has specifically commented about this issue of what if we told babies that their first steps weren't good enough? How would that work? And what he's noticed reliably in his work with other people is that the positive feedback loop really does seem to apply for anybody. And I wasn't consciously aware of his work until the last year or so. I've been at fitness and exercise for about a decade now. But the principles that he talks about are exactly how I started with myself in my late 40s, knowing that I had tried and failed to develop better habits many, many times. I focused on what I could do rather than what I couldn't, and I gave myself a certain amount of uplift for getting things done. And not surprisingly, things snowballed. My personal experience bears out his book in a lot of respects. And I think it's worth looking into if you're at all interested in hacking your own behavior to have better success in your life, whether it's for fitness or for something else.